On February 6, 1981, a youthful Yoweri Museveni led a troop of equally young comrades to attack Kabamba barracks in Mubende. It was an attack that would turn the fortunes of the National Resistance Army, rebels, and ultimately of Uganda. Early morning on that day, 37 years ago, Museveni and his group arrived at the gate of the military facility, catching Uganda National Liberation Army by surprise. Visual art has provided perhaps the most lasting monument to this historical event in a 15-feet fiberglass statue called Heroes Monument. It depicts the February 1981 attack of Kabamba barracks by the 27 NRA soldiers led by Yoweri Museveni. The statue is located in Kabamba at the very spot where Museveni is believed to have issued the order to attack the barracks. The monument was commissioned in 2005 by the National Enterprise Corporation. The commissioning team included Chief of Defense Forces General Ronda Nyakirima, General Eli Tumwine, Colonel Fred Mwesije, Major General Robert Rusoke, and Colonel Felix Kulaije. The momentous task to execute this monument was handed to three of Uganda's most experienced artists, Dr. George Chayune, an experienced sculptor, painter, and academic from Makerere University's College of Engineering, Art and Technology, Maria Naita, an experienced painter and sculptor, and David Chigozi. They were assisted by a team of younger apprentices. It was done from Maria Naita's residence in Mutundwe, from where it was transported upon completion. The statue depicts President Museveni commanding his troop.
And the Heroes Monument is a military monument depicting President Yoweri Museveni when he was a young man, soon after the contested elections of the 1981 forced him to go to the bush and commanded a guerrilla war that was successfully, executed. And in 1986, I think, is when we saw him jubilant in Kampala after capturing the city. But this monument in a very specific way is depicting him at that age, around 37 years of age, I think, a young man, and he's commanding his troops, the first 27, to capture this, as you know, this was started in Kabamba. So he's gesturing in a commanding posture, and his word is shouting the word attack, meaning attack the Kabamba barracks and capture the guns and so on. So he's doing exactly that. He's shouting attack, and his hand is stretched like that, in a commanding mood, and he's carrying a gun in his left hand, and so it marks that moment when the attack on Kabamba was made. So it is in that regard commemorative as well as definitive. It's commemorating that event and defining him as a person, as an embodiment of liberation of Uganda that started in 1981.
Within a deadline of just 3 months and a token fee of 35 million shillings, the artists worked almost day and night to accomplish what they now believe to have been one of the most important commissions.
It was an exciting thing to do because we thought we were contributing to national building, we are contributing to the Uganda's cultural heritage, we are contributing to the beautification of Uganda, if you like. And we are making history at the same time. So we thought it was a good thing to do, and we agreed to work, and we diligently worked, and we successfully carried out that task.
The statue was executed using fiberglass and a host of other artistic materials to give it the kind of beauty that it exudes today.
It has the necessary tensile strength, obviously, but it needs reinforcement, and we created a skeletal structure made out of steel bars on the inside of the monument. So it is reinforced from the inside. It's very tough, and it's painted, with Duco paint, which which you spray on your cars when you have a new, if you have a dent on your car and you need a new spray, that's what you use. So it's a long-lasting material, both the fiberglass itself as well as the color that went on top of it. So that is the material, yes.
It was an arduous technical process involving clay, plaster of Paris, and other materials.
Well, normally you would start with making that monument in clay. We all know clay. We dig clay from swamps. So we went to Kajans, bought some clay, and made that monument in clay. The reason for this is that clay is very, it submits to, the artist's whims, if you like. So, if that wants to turn it the other way, it will submit to all sorts of maneuvers, for the artist. So we made that monument in clay, and we had to invite from time to time the stakeholders in this monument for their approval. So once they were satisfied that the clay work is what it is that they are looking for, then the next stage of, which was a technical stage of transferring the clay work into fiberglass started. The way it starts is that we take a plaster of Paris molds off that clay work. Like, plaster of Paris, you just think about somebody who has got a fracture, and if you have to immobilize the bones, you've got to put them in what you call extremity. That's plaster of Paris, actually. So that's exactly what we did. We encased the clay within the plaster of Paris mold. What it does is that when you open the mold, because it's a big thing, you have to create several pieces of the mold. And when you open the molds, you expose the clay work again, which you don't need anymore, because you've got the molds. The molds are the negative bits of the positives, which was the clay work. So you have got the molds, which is the negative part, and once you have all the molds taken apart, you can then start getting the fiberglass, which you mix with resin. Fiberglass on its own is just matte. It's like, it's material that doesn't make sense until you mix it with resins.
For Uganda, it also remains an important historical landmark.
It's important in several levels. First of all, it is a political statement. It's about the liberation of Uganda. It's a marker. It's in our history. It is something that highlights a turning point in the history of this country, political history, and also social. And in itself, it's an artwork, of course, of high standards, I imagine. And to have been done in Uganda by Ugandans is also an important thing. It has now become one of the national treasures, national heritage. It's a monument like any other monument, the cultural or monumental features of Uganda. So it is a contribution to that fund of knowledge, if you like, because it also, in terms of communication, it is communicating something. There's a message embedded in that monument, and it is telling us something about Uganda as a country and where we've been and where we are going, and it's a landmark in many respects. As an an artistic feat as well as a document of our social and political history.
As Ugandans celebrate 37 years since the attack that led to the liberation of the country, such landmarks will for many years to come stand to tell the story of Uganda's turbulent past. Report by Stephen Senkaba for New Vision TV.